My God, are we really doing this? Are we really doing this, ladies and gentlemen? Hi, I'm back with another review. So, I'm just gonna get straight to the point. So, let's have a little recap. Last episode, the big thing was Lois found out that Clark is Superman. Obviously, this whole episode was kind of split between three storylines or events played out. I'm just gonna get the Jimmy thing out. The Jimmy thing was interesting. Jimmy's excited because, hey, we get to go looking for Sasquatch because he's the conspiracy nerd amongst the three of them. And, he's excited, and then he kind of gets left behind by Lois and Clark because they're dealing with their own stuff, and so he's just kind of like left alone. He had a really interesting bit of time with Steve Lombard, of all people. I thought they would have made Steve a complete jackass and and like repugnant individual. No, he was like chill. I was like shocked. I won't lie, I was genuinely shocked. I was like, holy crap. They didn't make him into a giant asshole. He was kind of an ass, but not a giant asshole. Because of the fact of Jimmy kind of being left on his own and kind of being led to thought, whoa, Lois and Clark don't give a shit about me. We're gonna see that play out in the next episode, I'm assuming. Let's move on to Clark. Not Clark, Lois. As I said, she found out Clark is Superman, and obviously is trying her best to kind of like get him to admit it to her. And I know they played this for comedic purposes. They kind of played up the whole hilarity, especially when they introduced the police scanner thing, because Clark is intent on finding out where are these weapons coming from, who's making them, or rather, where did they come from, and trying his best to round them up. So he picks out this old radio, right, and they do this comedic bit where every single time the radio goes off and like a report comes out of like a crime in progress, Clark leaves, he comes back, he used the excuse of bagel. I don't know. I know it's for comedic purposes. I thought it was a little dumb. It was a little too much for me personally. And it really made it obvious, like, wow, Clark really sucks at the lying part. Like, he's hilariously bad at lying. Lois is obviously, like I said, she's trying her best to kind of get him to admit it. Because at the very end, when they confront each other, and obviously she puts Clark in a situation where he has to reveal he's Superman, because she does the whole, hey, I'm gonna fall off the ledge, you gotta save my ass and prove to me you're Superman. I'm not surprised that she did that, but at the same time, I'm just like, woman, what if he wasn't Superman? This reminds me a little bit of the moment from the PS4 Spider-Man storyline when you were playing the game and like Mary Jane infiltrated the Norman's apartment and like had to jump off the balcony and had to be saved by Peter. I'm like, why do they do this? Why? Stop. Don't be a fucking idiot. Well, I know those were under very different circumstances, but you get the point I'm trying to make. And they have it's a big blow up, right? Because Lois flat out tells Clark, I hate liars. I hate them, right? And Clark is trying to obviously get her to understand and all this other kind of stuff. And so they butt heads. She legitimately said, I wouldn't, what was the line? She said, I wouldn't do that because you're or because I'm your, and she kind of paused, and then she went, I don't know what we were, but it's not going to be a thing anymore, or something to that effect. And I'm just, you have no idea how hard I hit my desk when I heard that. I went, are you joking? We were like moments, and now we're fucked. Now we got blue balled. Again, so this answers the question. This is going to kind of maybe be a multi-episode thing. I don't think it'll stretch out for the rest of the season. I am not of that belief. I think it'll be resolved next episode. Crossing my fingers, because I really don't want to see this get dragged out for a whole, like, the rest of the season. That would be dumb, personally. And, now let's move on to Clark. So, the other side thing with Clark is, so, actually, you know what, before we get to Clark, so we're first introduced to, like, this group of criminals who are going to rob a store or something. They're using all this tech that we saw earlier gangs and earlier criminals in the series use. And then all of a sudden they are attacked by somebody who's very fast, and I immediately went, oh no. And it's who you guessed it would be. It's Deathstroke. First thing is first, not the biggest fan of the costume. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's just, I don't know. I'm just not feeling the costume. It looks a little too, I don't know. There's just something about it that I don't like. right? I like his old aesthetic from, like, you know, that animated movie. I think it was Deathstroke, something of the Dragon. I don't remember. I know he probably has done work for Waller in the past in other DC universes and comics and continuities. I'm sure that's happened. However, there's another character that is introduced that I'm pretty sure is Lois's father. I'm almost absolutely certain that is General Lane. So we'll see how this kind of works out. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Deathstroke so far. The other thing that is alluded to, which it looks like my theory that all this stuff is alien tech might have been wrong. No, I was just flat out wrong. I'm not even going to try to justify it, actually. So, apparently, Lois's father talked about Zero Day or whatever. And what I have a sneaking suspicion is the images Clark was seeing in earlier episodes, which I thought was like of Krypton being attacked. I think it was when Clark's ship crash landed on Earth. Let's just say the government might have been trying to go for it, and then let's just say the ship activated its defense systems. So that may be what really happened. But again, during the and I remember during the fight, and then here's the thing: Lois's father didn't turn out to be a complete like monster or a complete asshole like Waller was. And again, I'm not saying this in a negative way, just because that's how Waller acted like Waller in that situation, where during the fight with Deathstroke, Slade cut part of the support for a bridge, and the bridge started to collapse, and then obviously Superman was more concerned about the bridge. So he knocked the shit out of Deathstroke and went to go, obviously, keep the bridge up so people wouldn't die and get hurt. And so I liked that moment, right? And again, that's generally the most of the episode. I was okay with it. Am I a little let down by the fact that it's going to be kind of drawing out the Lois Clark thing? I'm a little annoyed because apparently this is only 10 episodes, so I'm like, we're already halfway through. I'm like, ooh, I really hope they don't drag this out for the rest of the season. I don't think it is, personally, but we will find out. The Jimmy thing was interesting, but again, it'll probably get resolved in the next episode. Obviously the Deathstroke, General Lane, and Amanda Waller thing will get resolved kind of by the end of the season. I'm not sure. And then the last image or the last thing of the episode was Jimmy obviously pissed off with Lois and Clark for basically bailing on him, because originally in this episode they were supposed to go like Sasquatch hunting or whatever, and obviously they didn't show up. He was pissed off and he said, I'm gonna just go do this by myself. It skips to him in the forest, and let's just say he encounters something. I wanted to say Gorilla Grodd, but I was like, that looks way too big to be Grodd, so I don't actually know. It could be just Bigfoot. Knowing this show, it could be Bigfoot. And I think that's about it. Like I said, I was fine with the episode. I kind of not the biggest fan of the whole stretching this out, but that's the direction they wanted to take with it. It is what it is. So I'm gonna wrap up my thoughts here because I've given enough of my thoughts, and hopefully this will all get resolved next episode, because I will be annoyed if this goes into like episode 7. If it does, I'm gonna actually be kind of ticked off. Anyway, folks, thank you for listening to me ramble. I appreciate it. I am also thankful for everybody who watched the last video, because that thing cracked 1K in views, and I was like amazed. And thank you to everybody who commented. I appreciate the hell out of you. And hopefully, you guys give me your thoughts on this episode, and let me know what you guys think. Also, I must make I save this for the end of the video. I will not be putting out a review next week. I will unfortunately be out of town, so I will not be able to get out an episode. So instead, I decided to kind of squish 6 and 7 for the week after. So don't be surprised if you don't see a review from me next week. Expect one the week after, and it might be coming out a little later than usual, but you will still get something the week after. So hopefully you guys are patient with me as I'm still figuring this whole YouTube thing out. And yeah, that's about it. That's the only real announcement I have. But for those who might be curious, I will still be posting something. It is the first of hopefully many of these type of videos. You know, they're a bit more longer formatted, and I will be talking a lot more. Hopefully you guys like my voice. Anyway, that's it. I will shut up. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will be seeing you guys next time.